It turns out John threw it there the first time. Andrei sees this second John and moves his car to make him crash, then he lights the leaking gas on fire. Huge flames cover the car and an explosion knocks John out. Moments later John is shocked to wake up in the back of a truck with Neil and Kat. He learns that since he had been inverted, the effects of the explosion were nullified and it gave him hypothermia instead of burning him. John starts interrogating Neil because obviously he knew everything from the beginning, however Neil promises to tell him who hired him later. John remembers that he heard Andrei mention something called algorithm, so Neil explains it's a device made to invert the entire world and make it end. Sometime later, the truck stops at the Oslo Freeport, where Mahir is crashing the plane. Neil and John cover their bodies with uniforms and move a sleeping Kat on a stretcher toward the building. When John looks for an entrance, the engine explodes and pushes him through a door, revealing he was the SWAT guy that found his other self. The whole fight happens again, but since it's now in reverse, it shows John is trying to get away from his other self by doing as little damage as possible. They make it to the turnstile room and after shooting the glass, John jumps into the machine to invert himself back to normal. He appears on the other side and runs away. That's when Pas Neil chases him and takes off his helmet. Seeing John's face is why Pas Neil let him go. Then John opens a door for Neil and Kat to come inside while he steals a van. Neil is careful to avoid his other self and successfully gets in the machine, inverting himself and Kat back to normal. They escape in the van and now Kat can recover normally. Sometime later, John visits Priya and tells her he knows the box he had to steal had the algorithm. Priya explains that in the future a scientist creates the inverting method but fears that it will be used for war. Therefore the scientist breaks the algorithm into 9 pieces and sends them to the past to keep them safe. One of those pieces is the plutonium box, and now Andrei has all 9. The armies in the future chose Andrei to destroy the world and sent him instructions in the metal drum he found as a teen. Priya had planned for John to steal the box and lose it to Andrei on purpose so he would bring out all the pieces for his plan. This way her team can take them all back together. John agrees to help them. A few days later on Priya's ship, John and Neil explain to Kat that